What is going on, guys? Johnny on the track back with another video. And today we are talking the first race of the playoffs, Atlanta. A super speedway now is really what it is. Still, I believe, called Atlanta Motor Speedway. But we've got a good one here. If you remember, the first Atlanta race was that 3-wide finish between Daniel Suarez, Ryan Blaney, and Kyle Busch. A lot of people call that the race of the year. You could argue maybe the Kansas race between Buescher and Kyle Larson. Last week's Darlington race was epic. The Bristol race was great. It's just a few that I can name off the top of my head. But in terms of top tier elite NASCAR races in the past, I don't know, 5 years, that Atlanta race was all that for sure. So I'm excited for the Cup cars and the Cup Series to go back to Atlanta for the first race of the NASCAR playoffs. 16 drivers into the NASCAR playoffs. First round we've got here. It's an interesting first round. We go super speedway for Atlanta. Then we take it to a road course at Watkins Glen in upstate New York. And then, of course, we go to Bristol for the Bristol night race to conclude the first round of the playoffs. Quite a bit of craziness. Obviously, Chase Briscoe winning that race. Apologies. I ended up putting a bet on Chase Briscoe, but I was just so busy this past weekend that I didn't really get to share anything out aside from what I gave you guys out on the show. But hoping to be better with that throughout the rest of the season and playoffs here. Action Network Johnny on the track, as well as at JOTT_podcast on X is where you can find those final bets, post-practice, post-qualifying. So yeah, excited here to get to Atlanta real quick. Let's do the partnership with the NASCAR betting preview show. It's how you're possibly listening to the podcast version of this show. And if you're watching via YouTube, all you got to do is download or search rather NASCAR betting preview show on the podcast app, Spotify, however you consume your podcasts. Hit the follow button. You'll get plenty of great motorsports betting content from people like myself and plenty of other motorsports bettors. And the live show, they do a live show every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. on X. Again, on X NASCAR betting preview show, you'll be able to find that live show to get you previewed for the week that is Atlanta. So with that, let's get into some of the drivers that I'll be targeting this weekend. Probably not the biggest card. Had a good win last week. Ended up with Chase Briscoe money line and Kyle Busch top three to really have a good Sunday. So how I always say about super speedways, bet small to win big. So you've got plenty of options here. I am going to be leaning heavy towards the Ford camp. I think Ford is going to be strong here. Ryan Blaney, one of these guys that I'm targeting. He is the favorite at 10-1. But I like that number for Blaney. Hope maybe it could even get towards a 12 to 15-1. I doubt it because I think Blaney is going to practice and qualify well. But Blaney here had a great average running position, finished top 5 in all three or really all the stages. So the first two, and then ended up, I believe, third. He finished in this race. So yeah, I like Blaney a lot here. We know how good he is at super speedways. Won the Talladega playoffs last year to advance to the round of 8. And then actually went on to win Martinsville to get to the championship. But Ryan Blaney, this is usually when he heats up. This is when he kind of got hot last year. So I like Blaney here. I like his teammate Logano here as well at 10-1. Another guy, just really good at super speedways. We know how good he is at super speedways. I believe he won the first Atlanta race in the super speedway configuration. Has been super fast at qualifying all year. Ford, I look at Ford, they're going to qualify well. We've seen McDowell, Gilliland, Logano be the guys to win the poles at the super speedway. So Logano, Blaney, these are all guys that are going to start up front and stay up front. So Joey Logano at 10-1. Again, I talked about how Blaney gets hot during the playoffs. This is about when Logano begins to turn it on. And then I'm going to go with Cindric as well. So if you do have winning team bets, I would take that. Penske, the winning team. Let's see if it's posted on my book yet. I am actually reading out DraftKings numbers right now. Let's see what we got. No, nothing yet on winning team. But yeah, Penske to me is going to be the team to target here. Cindric, the number on him right now is 20-1 on Rhode Island Sportsbook. I believe it's 18-1. Yeah, 18-1 on DraftKings. So I would shop around for Cindric. You might be able to find it closer to that 20-1 number. He was great here. Finished fourth here earlier this season. Ran up front most of the afternoon, and he was like part of some awesome moves to make his way like in and around to lead some laps. He was a showman at that Atlanta race. So I'm excited. I think this is a good round for Cindric. I like Cindric. I think this first round sets up nice for him. Super Speedway, which he's really good at. Obviously, won the Daytona 500 2 seasons ago. You've got a road course for Cindric where he's been pretty good, Watkins Glen, and then Bristol and Ford, and kind of overall has been solid on short track. So I like this first round for Cindric. I think it's going to start, with a good run here at Atlanta. So I honestly think you maybe could prop him too. Top 5 is plus 500. Top 3 plus 225. So some interesting numbers, top 3 plus 500, top 5 plus 225. So some interesting numbers to look out for Cindric. And like I said, winning team for Penske is another great bet. Kyle Busch. How about Kyle Busch? He has been just on an absolute tear and a heater. Was kind of the best bet I targeted last weekend. Bet him top 3 and won that. Wanted him to win. Had winning team as well as his money line, and we missed that. Unfortunately, he ended up finishing second. But signs of life for RCR. Signs of life for Kyle Busch. Finished second at Daytona in the race before last race. Part of the 3-wide finish at Atlanta earlier this season. Has really been won Talladega last year. In his RCR, in his 2 seasons so far with RCR, they have been so dominant, this 8 team at super speedways. A win and a few top 5s to add on to that. So I like Kyle Busch here. I know the number is 10-1. He still wants to win. He still wants to go 20 straight seasons with a win. So Kyle Busch at 10-1, I think there's value there to ride the hot driver. And then Corey LaJoie is another guy I'm targeting. And I'm not the biggest LaJoie fan by any means, but 55-1, the number on DraftKings for Corey LaJoie. Let's check it at Rhode Island Sportsbook, 50-1. So that is also one that you might want to shop around at to get it as close to 60-1 really as you can. To me, this is his last chance to prove it in the Cup Series. I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't do a top 10. I wouldn't do a top 3. I wouldn't do a top 5. I would do money line. That is it for Corey LaJoie. He's had good results here at Atlanta, probably his best track. He's trying to win. That's it. He is trying to win. There's nothing else about it. Second place, third place, fifth place, seventh place, 10th place. That does nothing for Corey LaJoie, except continue the narrative that this guy only has decent runs on super speedways. And I say decent, right? He's got to win. This is his last chance. This is his best chance. You could argue maybe Talladega, but just with what we've seen for Corey LaJoie on this track, I think this is it for him. I think he's going to be motivated. He really hasn't been a guy that when the lights, shine bright, he comes to play. He's kind of an out of nowhere guy. But this is the chance, right? And this is why you suit up and put the helmet on for opportunities like this. Everybody's doubting this guy, including myself. Everybody has a lot of negative things and has had a lot of negative things about him this year with the wreck to Kyle Busch, a couple terrible mistakes to then him losing his ride with Spire, 55 to 1. Sprinkle a little sauce on that for Corey LaJoy, and I'd be happy if he won this race somehow. So yeah, I think Corey LaJoy is another guy to watch here. He'll be a popular pick, I would guess, just because of his history here. But at the same time, I could still also see people saying, "Nah, this guy doesn't have it." So those are a few drivers that I'm targeting. Again, Johnny on the Track on Action Network at JOTT_podcast on X Twitter for my final card. I think there's a lot of interesting guys to target. I think this is going to be won by a fringe playoff guy, meaning a guy that is considered that might get bounced from the first round. Like that's why I kind of lean a guy like Cindric. I could also see who else here? Suarez is another guy, right? Won Atlanta earlier. I could see him like, pulling an upset. So Ty Gibbs, right? Another guy that maybe not a fringe guy, but someone that still hasn't won 28 to 1. I think that's a good solid number to get Ty Gibbs at. Briscoe 35 to 1. I like a lot of those guys. I feel like this is, this is if you're a Chase Briscoe, if you're an Austin Cindric, a Ty Gibbs, a Daniel Suarez, this is your chance to really make a deep playoff run. It's got to start here. You got to get a win, advance, and then accumulate some points and speed. And yeah, you continue to get your backing from your manufacturer when you show speed and win races. So those are the guys I'm targeting. Again, big bets: Logano, Cindric, Blaney, Penske. Kyle Busch and Corey LaJoy are the main guys on that card. Want to know what you guys think? Put your thoughts in the comments section below on who you're targeting, who you're betting. Give this video a like. It goes a long way for the channel. And please hit that subscribe button to view my motorsports betting content, and then plenty other content that we'll be doing in terms of motorsports. So thanks for watching, guys, and let's win some money.